It's time to go!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Claude and the Bansters. Hope everyone's well. Nice to see everyone in the chat. Load of our regulars, Jake, Yaz, Turan, Martin, The Reverend, VP75, Omar, Gooner Savalas. Hope you're all good and well. Thank you for joining us. We've got a couple of great guests with us tonight. We've got a great man himself, Kenny Ken. How you doing, mate? You all right?
I'm all good. It's been longer than 3 months. We've had loads of discussions on whether the football should be coming back. But thanks to, like I said, government intervention and no known cases amongst the footballers, we'll be having some football in the next few days. So I suppose I'm looking forward to that because we do need something to talk about. We need a lot of cheering up because it's been a bad 3 weeks around across the world.
No, it has, mate. Yeah, you're totally right. We've also got Anita who's making a debut tonight. How you doing, Anita? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Like Kenny said, it's been a sad few weeks, but in good spirits, keeping positive, all of that.
Yeah, nice to see you. And also we've got the man himself. We've got Claude. How you doing, mate? Hope you're good.
Yeah, I'm okay. Looking forward to the show tonight. We've got a Chelsea fan on the show tonight. Are you a Chelsea fan? Are you?
Yeah.
Chelsea fan?
You're Chelsea? I had no idea.
She can give us a neutral view on things tonight.
You know what? Sorry to cut. Hey, when I was watching the show with Terry, I thought you were Arsenal, Anita. When Claude and who's that? Who's the guy? Who's the man again?
Adam.
It was Adam. Yeah, they're talking about the Invincibles. I thought, I didn't know whether you're disagreeing or agreeing. You're probably agreeing with what Claude said because you're Chelsea.
I was defending him like you were talking sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I had no idea at all.
Right, well, let's get straight to it. Obviously, a little bit of a controversial title tonight. It's caused a little bit of rife in the comments. We just took what the consensus was yesterday on Twitter after we played Brentford and we lost 3-2 in a friendly. Twitter had a meltdown yesterday. Arsenal were a laughing stock. The team that we put out is a laughing stock. The players that we got out is a laughing stock. And there was a lot of worry and hate on Twitter yesterday, saying that why did we get Arteta in? He's not going to be able to do anything. We're not going to be able to do anything against Man City, and it's all falling apart. So let's get straight to it. And Kenny, let's get your thoughts first, mate. Should we sack Arteta, mate?
You know the situation. It was a very good title because it got a lot of clickbait on social media, and one person in particular fell for it big time, which I was very surprised by. Very surprised that he fell for that. But what he does is that he has a massive following, and he really has caused a lot of discussion, which is so you got to thank him for his intervention, his help there. But in terms of it, it's the most important thing is all about match practice. You know what I mean? Because it's only like in the last 2 weeks where you had sort of close contact training, and now the best thing we've always advocated before the season starts is, genuine match practice. Like Charlton needed a match practice because obviously they're trying to stay in stay up, and Brentford are trying to get in the playoffs. And we need match practice because of there's an outside chance that we might be in contention for European places. So all that stuff about Arteta losing his job, it's just a bit of fun, really, isn't it? It's just I think people just want a bit of cheering up, something
for the moment
amongst themselves. But yeah, but it is that the trouble is when you get to know someone, mate. You break 3 cardinal rules are: don't talk about race, don't talk about religion, and don't talk about politics, because that can cause a lot of trouble. And then what will happen is that friendships get broken, or allegiances or acquaintances. And I think the last 2 weeks, you know, like I said, there's been very strong views. So a little bit of Arsenal stuff and practice matches has been good, sort of, how to say it, distraction.
Yeah. No, I get where you're coming from, Ken. Let's get Claude, your thoughts first before we get a neutral reaction from Anita.
It's our fan base all over, isn't it? I mean, after we beat Charlton 6-0, it was, this is the greatest. We're going to smash City. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And Arteta's the king, and all this bit. And now, then after the Brentford game, it went all. It all changed. It's just ridiculous, mate. Our fan base is a joke, man, at the moment. I'm sorry to say this. I'm going to say this on here. I'm appalled, especially on Twitter. I can't believe what I'm hearing on Twitter half the time. You know what I mean? So, listen, it's a friendly. It's all it is. These games mean nothing at the end of the day. They just get loosened up. I don't think there's anything to draw. The big one is next week, Man City, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes then. But I don't think we should take any notice of 2 kicker bats. I mean, if you watch the Charlton game, the Arsenal-Charlton game was a joke because all the Charlton players were just running back, just jogging back and letting Aubameyang just run. There was no closing down on nothing at all. So it's just nothing to take seriously at all. And I'm surprised a lot of people are taking it so seriously.
No, you're right. You're right there, Claude. Gio, how you doing, mate? He's put a super chat in. Thank you very much, mate. Kenny Ken, speak in facts, pay attention.
Thank you very much, Gio.
Right, let's get a neutral thought from Anita. What do you think on the? Obviously, we lost 3-2 to Brentford yesterday in a friendly. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, on paper, it's quite bad, but then what everyone needs to consider this as kind of like a pre-season kind of match, you know, like players are coming back. They basically went on like a 3-month vacation, basically. Like they've been at home for 3 months. They aren't fully fit. So people are out there, you know, like even though we're considering it as banter, but there are people out there genuinely basing Arteta's future on this kickabout, which I think is pretty ridiculous. But at the same time, not being able to beat Brentford is a bit of a machine. Like, it is a bit crazy when you look at it from the outside looking in. Like, I didn't get to watch the match, but I saw little highlights, especially with Maitland-Niles, and I'm just like, this is looking a little bit bad. And the fact that you've got City in a week, I guess what Arsenal fans really needed was a W to get them a bit more confident ahead of City. Personally, for me, going into that match, I am more confident that Arsenal will get something from the match. Genuinely speaking, I think you guys would get something from the match. But after the performance and after the little clips I saw from the Brentford match, I'm just thinking it might be a little bit sticky because, like Claude said, the Charlton players, they weren't even chasing down Aubameyang. So the Brentford players, the fact that they came out to play, is kind of very telling for what we might see next week against City. So just a bit, and we all know the whole world is going to be watching that match.
Yeah, exactly. No, I totally agree. We've got a super chat here from Chadwick. He said, "Love some Kenny. A real movement is happening here in the States. Things are going, have to change. Equality for all. The younger generation gets it."
I think what's happened in the United States with George Floyd, it's got the rest of the world talking, and it's got the rest of the world looking at their situation in this country. Because I think in this country, we're very complacent because we do have a sort of younger generation where we do see a lot of interaction between black people and white people in terms of intermarriage and interrelationships, and we think everything's all right. That it's a lot of people in this country say this country is the least racist country ever, but I think what the situation is there's institutions where in their edicts they state it's actually part of the edicts that they do promote equal opportunities in terms of like the sporting industry, the FA, local councils, the government. It's all in their edicts. But what people like, if you say someone who's black African or black Caribbean, in terms of like opportunities, it's still a long way to go, even though these edicts are there to protect us. Another thing as well is is the perception of a black person in terms of like, instead of seeing them as a man, you're looking at them differently. For instance, avoiding them walking across the road because they're big. So you're immediately afraid. It's education as well, and housing and economics as well. Is that it's all right seeing footballers earn millions of pounds, or Beyonce, or any of these, Denzel Washington. Yeah, they're okay, but it's the people who are economically challenged, maybe the black working class, that are still feeling disenfranchised across the world, especially in this country. And that's why, Chadwick's right. We've got a lot of work to do, but it's not just in America; it's around the whole world, but individually in this country. And I suppose that's what it's about. But one thing we do have to take into consideration as well is that there's a lot of hurt at the moment, because I know a lot of people who like I said, who ancestors fought in the world wars, and they ancestry goes all the way up to the Normans, the Battle of Hastings and everything, and the Anglo-Saxons. Obviously, they're going to be hurt when they see something happen to Winston Churchill's statue and all the other situations. I do respect the fact that is your history. You should celebrate it because your family's fought in the war. Your family's had to fight for something. So you should celebrate it. But so that's why I do understand the anger on that side. However, Winston Churchill means different, like I said, different issues to certain people, especially with his views. But one thing we'll say about Winston Churchill, he is like a product of his age. Remember, he was very prominent around the early 20th century, up until 1945, until he died 20 years later in 65. So in that respect, people did view black people like that. People did view Asians like that in terms of colonialism. So he's a product of his age, but it doesn't stop people thinking, well, I don't like what he stood for in modern age. But I do understand the hurt and probably the anger of why people who are from the Anglo-Saxon background are feeling towards, they feel they have to defend their heritage. And I get that. I do get that. And I think that's why this discussion has to be sit down like human beings and talk, not fight, talk.
No, well said, Diesel. Well said. We've got a super chat from Maya. I don't believe Arteta is the lead Arsenal. We won't win trophies or titles under him. We needed an experienced manager to restructure the team. I think a bit different to that, but there's a Stephen.
I tend to agree a lot on that. I do agree a lot on that. I do think we should have gone for a more experienced manager, because Arsenal is a big job, Terry. It's a massive job, and it's not for a person that's first time hasn't managed a team in his career. But we've gone that way. At least with Chelsea, they went with Lampard, but Chelsea at least he had a year's experience at Derby, But the experience he's got at Man City is not enough for me. Well, I could be proved. I hope I'm wrong, and he really does turn it. But I can understand why people have these feelings, because I just feel that Arsenal is a massive job, and I think it's not someone that just can come in. I mean, you could have even had Henry in front of Arteta. Henry's got more experience than Arteta. But they went for Arteta. I don't know, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
I just wanted to bring this comment up. Stephen, who's a United fan, he put, it's your team, that's the problem. The defence is garbage. It's not your manager's fault. Sign players and give the guy a chance. Now, that's exactly what I'm saying. I totally agree with that. Listen, I understand.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think the recruitment has got, but then Arteta's got to stand up and say, not like Emery, who let it all go, let it all go, and then say once he's left the job and then say, I didn't get this and I didn't get that. That's no good then, is it? Speak up. You're not getting the players you want. Speak up.
For me, you can't have it both ways, right? The way I look at it is, when Wenger left, we went out, we looked for a manager. On record, on paper, he looked a great, fantastic manager, Emery. You know what I mean? He won 3 Europa Championship on the trot. European Championships. On paper, he looked good. He come in with a USB and said he knows all the players. He's going to improve all the players. You know what I mean? He knows them inside out. He's done his own work. He's done this. That is your experienced manager. You had that experienced manager. We had that. What did he do? He fucked us up completely, in my eyes. He put us further back, where even more than what Wenger did, in my eyes. And now we've got a guy who's come in who has got a great footballing brain, in my eyes. He can turn it around if we give him a chance. He's only had, 17, 18 games, and we're writing him off already, to be honest. This ain't his team. This ain't his players, and we're still writing him off.
I'm not arguing about that, Kent, but we'll see in the summer whether he does. But when people start going on about, oh, he's done this and he's done the massive improvement, I don't see no massive improvement. I heard someone say on the other day on Robbie's show on the AFTV, he said, our style of play is better. I don't see no style of play with this. No style of play is better. We're playing the same way as we played under Emery. Come on, let's get this right, yeah. Don't get fooled by. Let's not get fooled by because he's a ex-player and this and that, and because he's I'm going to give him. Of course, we've got to give him time, but let's not get too. How can I say? Give him too much praise before he deserves it.
No, I don't think I'm praising him. I just think I'm being realistic myself personally. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, like I said, we have got a shit defence. Our defence is atrocious. It's atrocious. But he hasn't bought any of them players. He hasn't bought any of them. So we can't do anything to the defence until he can buy his own players in the window, if you know what I mean. So he's only trying to do a job at the moment to keep us where we are. That is my realistic expectation.
I agree. Yeah, but I agree, Terry. But when people, let's look at that game against Olympiacos in Europe. Yeah. No criticism went his way for that, and he should have got criticised for that because we shouldn't over 2 legs. We should be beating Olympiacos.
Yeah.
Over 2 legs, he got no criticism because he's Arteta.
No.
If that was Emery or Wenger, we would have been all moaning about him, wouldn't we? Yeah, but he deserved the same criticism. No.
The only difference.
Why should he get escape from criticism for that for them 2 games? No. He made a lot of mistakes in that. But it's okay.
The only difference for me in that is that obviously if it was Emery, I would have criticised him because these are his players. Most of the players he picked, they're his players. They're the ones he wanted to ask. Well, if it weren't the players that he picked and it was upstairs that picked them, he should have come out and said that straight away. In my eyes, these ain't the players.
He also made tactical decisions on the night that were wrong. Martinelli wasn't brought on until really, really late.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with that. With that. But you can't legislate for the defensive errors that them players made on the pitch. You can tell the players how to play. Don't get me wrong. You can tell the players how to play with the formation that you picked and the team that you pick, but you can't legislate for the players on the pitch when they make silly mistakes like Shaka does every single game. We've got a super chat here. We've got one Arsenal Wenger. How you doing, mate? He's put keep calm. We've got the reincarnation of George Best.
Who is reincarnated? This is what I'm saying about our fan base. This is what I'm saying about our fan base, man. Who's reincarnating George Best here?
Anita, give us some light on this. Give us some light on what we're talking about. Should we be worried? You know what I mean? Or should we give Arteta time, like I'm saying? You know what I mean? He hasn't had his players. What would your thinking be?
Honestly, okay, as a Chelsea fan looking in, I'm used to our managers changing very regularly, And personally, if you guys want another manager, I think you're kind of crazy. You look at it this way, how many months has he actually been with Arsenal? This is, again, what Terry just said, this is not his team. Really and truly, come this summer transfer window, given the money and given the go-ahead from your board, he can create a whole different team to suit whatever type of football he wants to play. Yes, I agree with you, Claude, that you have not seen a difference in the style of play. It's still a bit confused. Fair enough. But again, he's just come in. He's trying to figure out what works for each player and what tactics works for the entire team as a whole. So I say, give him next season. Give him another season before anyone can even say that, yeah, we need to start questioning him. Give him a season before you question him. Have some patience. Like, I understand you guys are eager to get back to the top. Hey, I understand that you guys are eager to get back to the top, which is fair. I'm eager for Chelsea to get back to the top too. But if I didn't have faith in Lampard, like you guys should have in Arteta, then my head will be all over the place. Like sometimes I feel like Arsenal fans, you cause a lot of stress on yourself, and it's because the expectation is very high. And I get that we don't like seeing Man City and Liverpool and even Tottenham creeping up in the top four. I know that, I get it, I understand it. But
that's the problem. That's the problem. It isn't high. Sorry to interrupt you, Anita. That's not the problem. That is the problem. Our expectations are low now. Our fan base is low because we accept mediocrity now. We don't.
The thing is, right? For me, yeah, you gotta accept mediocrity before you can get to the top. You see, when Chelsea got knocked down to 10th, I got so humbled, so humbled. So winning the league the next season was something I didn't expect. But the fact that my players as well, they were humbled by coming 10th. They pushed to win the league the next season, even though we started off awfully. So you never know, maybe not winning the league because you haven't got the players just yet, but you never know next season. If you guys come 10th this season, because I personally don't see you guys getting a European spot, but if you guys come 10th this season and you don't go Europe, you stay within the domestic cups and the Premier League, you guys will be back on top. Like, honestly, I feel like
but the problem
to get back to top four, it's too much. Like, it's enough. Take a break from
but the problem is, Anita, your players have got over the years have had the mentality. Our players haven't got the mentality that Chelsea players have got. Our mentality. I mean, you look at this goal, what Leno said the other day. It's not. It's boring to win. Boring to win. That's the mentality of our players.
He said
until we get the mentality right, and that's down to Arteta as well. He's got to get their mentality up as well. Until we get that mentality right in the dressing room, we're not going anywhere because it's like our players are just turning up just to pick up their wages and if we win, we win. If we lose, we lose. I want players that want to win every week. That mentality, the Tony Adams mentality. The John Terry mentality.
Yeah.
Even that mentality. We haven't got that mentality in our squad at the moment.
But
that's got to be drummed in by. That's what Arteta's job is there to drum that into them.
But don't you think,
And when I hear that, when I hear people like Leno coming out and saying Bellerin as well, coming out the other not so long ago as well, saying that Alexis wanted to win too much. What a ridiculous thing to say. Of course you want to win. How can you say it's boring to win titles year after year after year? It's boring to be ninth in the league. That's boring. Do you understand? That's what I don't.
Just before you butt in there, Anita, sorry. Jack has just said, Leno didn't say that. He said German Bundesliga is boring when Bayern winning every season. That's
they can twist it as much as they want. They can twist it what they want. Yeah, I know what he was saying.
Anita, Gio said, Anita, what's your favourite Chelsea shirt and player?
My favourite Chelsea shirt is a number 10 and it's a Hazard shirt. So that tells you who my favourite player is.
Sorry, what was you going to say to Claude just a minute ago?
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, okay, with the winning mentality, I don't think there's another manager out there who's leaving their club than Arteta to bring that winning mentality. Like, he chilled with Pep for how many years? Like, come on, like, when you talk about winning mentality, these people, like, who was it that you just mentioned? Bellerin saying that Sanchez wanted to win too much. Really, thank you. Thanks. But really and truly, do you think Arteta wants to hear that? You never know. Bellerin might be out the door too. Like, if you want to hear that, come on, that's losing mentality. Like, Arteta's not a loser. Like, he's not a loser. He's going to work his arse off to get them back. And you've got to look at it this way. This is how I look at it. The second Arteta left City is when I saw a big decline in the way City were playing. Are you not excited just to know that Arteta was a part of such an amazing team with an amazing style of play and he could possibly bring that to your club? Like, give him the time. Like, I could have wanted Arteta to come to my club. I would have been happy. Give him the time. Honestly.
Well said.
All very well
said.
It's all very well standing in the background with your arms folded. I've watched that all for nothing. I watched that all for nothing. While Guardiola was it was all about Guardiola. All you could hear about is Guardiola. And Arteta's there like this. There was Brian Kidd. There's another Spanish guy, I don't know, and Brian Kidd's sitting like that.
Claude, you asked me this question on the last stream, but your connection went before I could answer. Right? The answer to that question is why Pep was doing all that filming. Who was doing all the training?
What do you mean on the training? When it was in the dressing room, all the players were there. What are you talking about?
That was a 2-minute clip you see in the dressing room. Why he was filming all that, doing all that filming and all that.
I'm hearing all these people. No, hold on a minute. I heard all these people going on about, Lord, you should see what Arteta was. You just watch All or Nothing. I don't see him do anything in there. I didn't see him do nothing. Oh, did I miss an episode? Kenny, did I miss an episode? Because I didn't see him do anything in that float. Yeah.
I think, Claude, the thing with Arteta is that I didn't want him at all for the simple reason is that we needed a big manager because it's a big job, and Arsenal have gone for the cheaper option. I think a lot of Arsenal fans get excited too quickly, wherever we win, and they get too excited quickly about Arteta because they think that somehow Pep's magic is going to work on Arteta. One thing people need to realise at Arsenal is that Arteta's got a lot in his in tray, and he hasn't got the players. Arteta's going to have to get used to the fact that he's not going to get his first and second choice players like Chelsea do. He's going to get his third and fourth choice players. He'll go for a player, and if Chelsea, Liverpool, or Man City or Man United go for them, Man United will offer more money. Chelsea will offer the fact that we're in London as well, but we've got a better team and we've got a chance of winning the title. Man City said, well, we can win the title, and Liverpool said we're the champions. So what else Arsenal got to offer anyone? So
come on. Everyone wanted them.
But a lot of Arsenal fans wanted Wilfried Zaha because of his experience. Because Wilfried Zaha is a better and more accomplished player in terms of what he can sell in pretty quickly, and that is a problem.
Ridiculous.
Now look at this. Listen to this quote. Yeah, listen to this quote. Oh, it's a super chat, but I'll allow it. People forget Arteta was under the best manager to grace the Premier League and Pep. Where are these people? What do you mean the best manager to grace the Premier League?
Claude, can I just say something? Claude, 1 minute.
What are they talking about?
Claude, calm down. 1 minute. Let me just say something. Let's just rationalise what you're saying. Rather than you getting angry, let's just say something. Let's just counter what one Arsene Wenger said and said, well, Brian Kidd worked under Sir Alex. He went to Blackburn. What happened? You don't know how Arteta is going to go on. He is rightly respected, but one thing is that, and one thing I've got to tell Anita as well, there was a lot of garbage from Arsenal fans saying, "Oh, we got our Arsenal back because we passed the ball forward and our defence stayed in a straight line." But the fact of the matter is that unless Arteta can get the mentality right when we don't have the ball, i.e., like Chelsea do, like Man City do, and like Liverpool do, i.e., the press, or making sure that everyone's in the right positions when they have the ball. You don't need great defence. If you've got a midfield that works hard in front of you, and you've got strikers who chase back, your defence is redundant. It's just like the goalkeeper as well. If everyone's doing their work in front of them, you don't need your goalkeeper because it's a team, and that's what Arteta needs to correct. He needs to get that mentality, and he needs to get it fast. But what he needs to get used to. He's not going to get his.
You can't do that until you've got a transfer window.
I'll give you two examples.
But the fact of the matter is, he's not going to get the players he wants. You know that, Terry. You know that we're not an employer.
Hold up.
I'll give you two examples of following managers. The greatest manager ever, I think, in the Premier League, right? Sir Alex Ferguson. Brian Kidd followed him. Yeah. What did he do? Steve McLaren.
Our greatest ever England manager. McLaren.
Yeah, was it what they called in the one with the brolly? Yeah,
Wally with a boy, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, who else? Who else has gone under him? Who else? Where have they gone? Whoever's gone left for bigger jobs? Where have they got to? It doesn't mean because Guardiola's got the brain that someone else is going to have the same impact, does it? Come on,
yeah, but Claude, the thing about it though is that he was in the running for the job in the before Emery got it. So the board do know about this guy, and they are listening to people in football. Personally, I wanted a bit more experience, but the fact of the matter is the board have made their choice and they made their bed. So we just have to lie in it and just take one game at a time. But he needs to know what's in his in tray, and he needs to know that he's going to have a battle in his hands. But I wish him the best of luck, because if it works for Arteta, it works for Arsenal. That's how I've got to look at it. But you know, we're all there to be proved wrong, and that's the beauty of football. People can, managers improve, players improve. You know what I mean?
I'm not disputing that, Kenny, but we can't assume because he was under Guardiola that he's going to be the greatest manager.
Maybe so, but but the trouble is that you do know that there's higher recommendations. Football's all about recommendations, and if you're a club like Arsenal, you don't get your first or second choice managers, then when a manager like Arteta becomes available, go for it. You've got to remember one thing about Arsenal, though. Terry and Claude, you should know this because you've been supporting the club. I've been supporting the club for 41 years. We've never gone for a big name manager. George Graham came from Millwall, the second division. Bruce Riot came from Bolton. Arsene Wenger was a top manager in Monaco, but a lot of fans didn't know him. And it's the same with Emery. Arsenal never had the tradition of spending big money or getting big managers. They've always liked to do things conservatively.
They came close. They did try to get Bobby Robson, didn't they?
They tried to get Terry Rebels, but the fact matters is that who Arsenal
you can't say they didn't go for.
Maybe do, but who Arsenal settled for are invariably, managers without a bit of funfair. Sometimes it's worked, sometimes it hasn't. It worked with George. I suppose he worked with Wenger until Barcelona, and Arteta's got a lot of proof. Wish him the best of luck.
Right, I just want to ask you the question after that. I just want to let everyone know that obviously we are live on Hot Mic tonight as well as YouTube. If you don't know what Hot Mic is, go and download it from Apple Store and Google Play Store and sign up, put our code in CBS 301. That will sign you up to our channel on Hot Mic. And then you've got a load of people on there like Anfield Agenda, Craig and Connor at Liverpool. Really good guys. Give them a follow. You've got Lee Gunner, the Anfield Grab. You've got loads of people on there. So get yourself over there. Football Terrorists on there. And not only that, when we do live watch-alongs for all the games that start next week, which we're all happy about, you'll be able to listen to Claude and the Bansta's commentary instead of boring old Michael Owen and Steve McManaman and all them other boring old farts. So, you know what I mean? Go and download it, CBS 301, and sign up to our channel, which is all free. Right, let me ask you this question then, Claude. Come to you first, right? So you're saying that you wanted an experienced manager in, yeah? So if just say, for instance, we got that experienced manager, whoever it may be. So what did you expect us to do then? What did you expect him to be with this team? And where do you think we would be if we had that experienced manager?
I disputed the manager as it is, but he might turn things round. I'm not saying he's. Let's get this right. I don't want him out now. Did I say I wanted him out now? No. But I'm just saying we got a whole. We got. I must admit. I wanted a more experienced manager. I did at the time. I thought I'm going to be honest. I did want someone because we are a big club. We're a massive club. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'll just stop you for 2 seconds. We've got Tony Rolfing, the Chelsea SW6. How you doing, mate? He said, evening, boys, carefree. Tony, give us a message, and we want to know if you want to come on Monday night. So let us know if you want to come on Monday night, mate. Go on, Claude. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, I wanted a bit because I think this is a big job. That's all I'm saying. It was a big job, and I think these jobs you can't listen. Are you telling me right that you'd put someone in a big job with no experience in any big job in any industry with no experience. Ask the panel here. Would they put in any big job in the country? Forget football. Someone that's got no experience. Would they get a big job in any industry? Come on, you tell me.
If they're qualified.
Exactly.
No, but they're not qualified, are they? If they've got no experience, they're not qualified, are they?
I mean, you should be qualified and not have experience. That's how I got my first job. Like, I was qualified, no experience, got it, and I'm a boss at my job. So,
my answer would be to that is that you had an experienced manager before. Where did that get you? That would be my answer. If you asked me that question, if I was coming for an interview, I'd say.
I agree, but it's not. Whatever way you look at it, it's not. But you've got more chance of success with someone with more experience. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I know Chelsea went down the Lampard route, but the only reason they went down the Lampard route, in my opinion, I think it was a good decision anyway. But in the end, because he's done quite well, but the reason they went down the Lampard route is because, in my opinion, they had that transfer ban, so they weren't going to get a bigger guy in. For me, that's the only reason they went for Lampard. But even he had at least some sort of experience, didn't he?
Yeah.
He had the year at Derby. He done okay. I mean, for first year, and it's not an easy level to manage a football team, the Championship. So. Yeah, I don't know. That's how I feel. That's the way I feel about it. Really, I just thought we needed a more experienced guy. That's it. Simple. Right. But if this guy turns it round, good luck. Great, it'd be brilliant, fantastic, and I will praise him, and I'll eat humble pie.
Just before I come to you, Kenny, Chadwick Moffat said, Claude, who would you rather have a beer with? Fabregas, Wenger, Prince Charles, Scalacci, Jovino, Van Persie, or Mick McCarthy?
Fabregas, I wouldn't pee on him if he was on fire. Wenger, I don't want to go into that. Prince Charles. Some people would be talking about plants all night, wouldn't we? So we won't be talking about Squilacci. No comment. Jovino, oh well done. I'll never forget that miss at Bradford. Fucking hell, Jesus Christ. There's people that actually thought he was the new Ian Wright when he scored in the. This is what I mean about pre-season friendly. He scored a goal in a pre-season friendly, and there was people in the pub calling him, shouting, Ian Wright. Yes, exactly. Van Persie, yeah, I don't blame Van Persie. Van Persie was told there's no ambition in the club, so he left. And I don't know much about Mick McCarthy, so I wouldn't have if I can have one, maybe with Mick McCarthy, and I'll try and get to the argument he had with Roy Keane and why that went off.
Oh yeah, in Ireland, the island, yeah, that was good. Yeah, yeah. All right, go on then, Kenny.
You mean in terms of look, it's one of those things, right? Obviously, I want a more experienced man, but the thing about it is that a lot of Arsenal fans talk about Emery's reign. Let's not forget, yes, Emery made mistakes, but he inherited one of the worst Arsenal sides ever from Arsene Wenger, and he inherited a team that finished sixth. And one of the things that killed Emery was when Aaron Ramsey got injured, because he didn't have a plan B when Aaron Ramsey got injured. He didn't have a midfielder to make those runs and get the goals from the midfield. And so there was a heavy reliance on Lacazette and Aubameyang, who in the wrong times lost form. But I think what's happened is that it's easy to beat Emery with a stick. But let's not forget the reason why we're here in the first place and why Arteta's Arsenal manager, because of Arsene Wenger outstayed his welcome, and he destroyed this football club. Absolutely destroyed the football. He made this football club unmanageable, and basically he destroyed the utility of our club to the extent that we're going to have about another couple of transitions to sort out the mess that he left us with. He really did leave us in a mess.
Yeah,
and he actually made Arsenal a laughing stock.
Yeah,
not just the fans, but in football. Teams just look at Arsenal, and we're not even part of the conversation. Whenever they talk about teams qualifying for the top four, no one talks about Arsenal. They don't even talk about us winning the league. That's where he left. That's where Arsene left us. We're seen as a team that we're a big club, but it's like a big club, but so what? And that's just the facts. And I just think that Arteta has got a massive job in his hands, but he can't afford to make mistakes because this fan base will turn, because we've been starved of success for 16 years. We've seen Chelsea, a team that we used to maul. Sorry, Anita, just stating fact. I don't like your success. I don't like your success. It annoys me, but I respect your success. I respect your success. The reason why I respect your success is because you have had the best managers, you have had the best players, you have the best mentality, but I don't like it. It's a personal dagger in my heart, because that's what I want. I want Arsenal to be where you are. I don't like Tottenham overtaking us in terms of quality on and off the pitch. That's a dagger to my heart as well. But it's one of those things is that Arteta, the wheel will turn against Arteta if results don't go his way. Arsenal fans have got no reason to be patient now. It's too long without any success. So he'll do himself a massive favour. He can get in that top four, and then at least and win a trophy next season. That's his intro. Yeah, I know you say, GP, Chelsea spend more, but the fact of the matter is that Chelsea do have an advantage. They do have, like Man United and Man City, they've got liquid assets in terms of like the owners who can just got ready cash. Like they virtually paid the full transfer fee, Chelsea and Man City. Not so much Man City United. But the fact of the matter is that it's not just the money. It's a bit the ambition and mentality of Chelsea. I could be a millionaire, but if I don't have the right mentality, I'm going to buy crap players. Chelsea didn't buy crap players. They bought the best. They've got the best managers. So that's why they're winning the league. Man United, Man City got the best managers and the best players. That's why they win, not because of the money. It helps, but you still have to buy good players and have good managers.
Mm-hmm. Let me come to you, Anita. Obviously, you know, Chelsea went through a period where obviously you couldn't buy any players. They sacked the manager. How did you feel? Obviously, I know he's one of your own, Frank Lampard, so you had a lot of good feelings towards him coming in. You know what I mean? Like you said earlier, Claude said earlier about Thierry Henry or someone like that coming back to the club. But what did you actually think when they obviously signed Frank Lampard? What was your ambitions under him, and how much time would you have given him if things weren't going the way they was?
Firstly, with Frank Lampard, I was never for it. I didn't like the idea. I was actually never for it. I was one of the few Chelsea fans that thought he will come Chelsea, he wouldn't bring us a lot of success, and we'd turn against him. And I don't want that for my club legend. But he proved me wrong. But even when we got him and when we get a new manager, it's just one thing to always be behind your manager. So when I'll go to matches, I'll always sing Frank Lampard's name. You've got to just, support him regardless. Fair. But honestly, I was expecting a 10th place, knockout group stages, Champions League, and focus on getting a FA Cup or a Capital One Cup. That's what I thought. The only matches I got my tickets for were the FA Cup and Capital One Cup. Like, I wasn't going to any other matches because I just thought we were going to get a pounding. Like, I had no faith in them at all. Like, I'm surprised we're fourth. Honestly, I'm surprised we're fourth. Even with the players we have, they're not good enough. And the fact that we're fourth, I am shocked. Like, big up Lampard, innit?
What we've got to take in consideration, I think, as Arsenal fans, is that, yous have been on the ban for, what is it, 2 years?
Yeah.
Years. So,
it's over. It was only a transfer window.
Yeah.
No, it was 2 windows. It was 2 windows.
2 windows.
Oh, yeah, 2 windows, yeah.
So, they probably had money saved up in the kitty anyway. Do you know what I mean? Because you couldn't go out and buy anyone. So, with the success what Frank Lampard done in the first season, which he did do, he was fantastic for Chelsea. He done one thing that was...
One thing I will say, Phil, the big test for him now, it's a big test for him because now these new players, they bought Werner, is it? Timo Werner?
Almost.
All these new players now coming in, they're star quality. He's now got the pressure of having to work with better players, and it's going to be a different. And the expectation level of the fans will go higher, so it's going to be a bit more pressure on him. So it'll be a different. It'll be interesting to see how he copes with that.
I don't think he's going to cope too well with that. Personally, I think that there's probably going to be a bit of a power struggle. So you see how Louise basically got given the green light to just get the hell out because he was just being disrespectful, apparently anyway. I feel like there's going to be a bit of a power shift. There might be a bit of, internal fights or something. I don't know. I've got a bad feeling about getting big names in, but he is smart for not getting. Apparently, he said he doesn't want. I don't rate Pulisic. Sorry. Thank you about my smile. But yeah, apparently, he turned down getting Sancho. So he told Marina he doesn't want Sancho anymore, which I think was a smart move because Sancho, he is a big player. We talk about Werner. We talk about what's his name? Okay, let me just put Werner. We talk about Werner and Ziyech, yeah. But really and truly, fans in England, we don't really know too much about them to, judge them accordingly. Sancho, he's too much of a big player that if he comes Chelsea and does not perform under Lampard, we will get Lampard out of here.
Yeah.
So I think it's Lampard, he's playing his cards right, but I feel like there's a possibility for a struggle next season.
Yeah. It's happened at Chelsea before, but we'll see. I mean, it's a big pressure on him next season. More pressure because, as I say, he's got the expectation level will go up next season with all these new signings.
Yeah,
they've got Werner. I'm not the guy from Ajax is performed well in Holland. It's a big jump, but he looks a good player, top player.
Yeah.
Werner, watching him in the Bundesliga, looks very, very, very good. We'll see how it goes. But I mean, that's a good sign. And you reckon Sancho could be another one they could, but they might have a battle with United for that, wouldn't they? Because I think United have been knocking on that door, haven't they?
I think if Sancho goes to United, that would be the biggest mistake of his career.
Yeah.
Honestly, he's better off going to flipping. He's better off staying in Germany. Like, just stay in Germany, mate. Like, don't come England. Just stay there.
Yeah.
Like, going to Man United will dead your career. Coming to Chelsea will probably dead your career and dead Lampard's career. Like, just know. A team that I thought would be so good for Sancho, if you guys were, in good form, top four, I feel like he would have fit in perfectly in Arsenal. And Chelsea fans are going to hate me for that, but I personally think he would have.
We've got a super chat here from Chadwick. He said, Anita, you rate Pulisic, also beautiful smile.
Thank you. But no, Pulisic can get the hell out too. Like, you can go. Thank you.
One Arsene Wenger said, JT as coach for a women's team like Neville for England. Would you take that?
They won the championship, haven't they? They won the championship, the women, didn't they? The Chelsea women.
Yeah.
So,
by points, wasn't it? They points.
They won it. Yeah.
Was it Devon City in the Champions League? Isn't it? But anyway, Chelsea have got one of the best footballing brains in there. Emirates. I mean, if you heard her speak about football, she's bloody brilliant on the football debate. No, Emma Hayes. You don't need John Terry manage your women's team. Emma Hayes is up there.
I just want to shout out a couple of people who's put a few comments on Op Mike. Dan, he says, "Is this a joke? The players didn't perform. Don't blame Arteta." Liverpool fan says, "Hey, how you doing, Liverpool fan? Hope you're good." Isaac says, "Hey, Claude, Arteta needs some time and a backing from the board so he can be a success." And Isaac says, I hate our fan base.
And hello to Laura there. Laura in the comments.
Yeah, Laura. Right, let's. How do you think Chelsea going to fare with all these players, Kenny?
Thing with Chelsea is that it's all about getting them in the system. The good thing about that is that they've got experience around them already. Because everyone was talking about how Lampard's done well with these kids. But, they still had the experience of Azpilicueta. They still had their experience goalkeeper and Kepa. They still got an experienced spine of Willian and Kante. So for me, it wasn't a surprise that Chelsea did well because they still had some very, very good players. Obviously, Hazard's still one of the biggest misses ever, but his ambition was to go to Real Madrid. In terms of Chelsea, nothing surprised me with Chelsea. No matter how much turmoil Chelsea have, come May, you're always going to see one of their players lifting a trophy. Whether it's a League Cup, the FA Cup, the Champions League. I've seen how many managers have Chelsea had since Abramovich has been there. I'll tell you one thing, right? They've had about
Well, it's one nearly every season, isn't it?
Yeah, but how many trophies? If you count the Super Cups and the Champions League, they've probably won about under Abramovich about 20 trophies. It's like that is virtually two trophies every season. It never works.
A lot of them teams, right, weren't run by the manager. They were run by the.
But they still won.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
No, that's what I'm saying. Because don't tell me if what you call it. Who won when they won the Champions League? Who was the manager? Was Di Matteo?
Oh, Matteo. Yeah. It definitely. They still won it. They still won it. They sacked VS Boys, but they still went and won the FA Cup and Champions League. That's the thing about Chelsea.
John Terry was running that team.
But it doesn't matter. Jose Mourinho has left them the winning mentality that they still got it to this day. As long as they have that, you can never ever write Chelsea off. They can finish 15th one season and still come out next season and win it because the fact of the matter is, I don't know how they did it, but you look at under Mourinho, they down tools in 2016. Next season, they go and win the title at a canter. Flying, and that's the thing about Chelsea is that it's that mentality. But the thing about the mentality, it's not just the footballing mentality. There's Granit Xhaka as well. In terms of she's like a shark when it comes to negotiating the players. I mean, she looks like a supermodel, but bloody hell, I wouldn't do business with her. You know what I mean? She'll, you know what I mean? She'll take my house off me. She'll take all my clothes off me, and she'll still get the good end of the deal, and I'll be left with nothing. I'm not doing business with her. But that's the thing. There's a mentality in the boardroom weather. Chelsea want to be the best, and that's the thing. And players who come to that dressing room know that Petr Cech says it beautifully. If you draw at Chelsea, it's like a funeral. At Arsenal, we drew 2-2 at Stamford Bridge. We're celebrating as though we won the bloody league. You know what I mean?
No, I was like, what's going on?
Yeah. I know, but Anita, that's the difference in the mentality between Arsenal and Chelsea. You see what I'm trying to say? Is that the fact of the matter is that your mentality is one of the reasons why you do compete, even though you've got Man United's money and City's money and Liverpool's excellence, you still believe that you can beat these teams. You know what I mean? And that's
look at Arsenal. And Kenny, look at the mentality that this so-called greatest manager they're saying that graced the Premiership left us in. The mentality that he left us in when he left the football club after 22 years. Right? Look at the mentality he left. Yeah, that's the difference.
The difference between Wenger and, like I've always said, is that he never, ever, ever went out and bought the best player at the time. He never done that. He never, ever done that. He always wanted to go out and buy a rough diamond that would turn out to be a gorgeous diamond. And that's what he wanted, Wenger. That is what he wanted to be known for. And that's what he did at the beginning. In the first 2, 3, 4 years, that's what he did. Vieira, Henry, Petit, Edu, all them players, fantastic. But then the unfortunate thing for Wenger is that he got to the very top, like the undefeated season, when we should have won the quadruple, really, like Claude does say. And then he stood still. And everyone around him went out, and even though they win all the time, they win the league like Ferguson did, Chelsea do. The next season, they go out and they buy that one player they need to push them even further.
Yeah.
Terry, let me tell you something about the Invincibles. The Invincibles was the beginning and the end. You can celebrate all you like, but it was the beginning and the end. And I'll tell you one thing about Arsene Wenger as well. Barcelona, well-meaning, but killed Arsenal. Let me tell you something. One more thing. The worst thing that ever happened to Arsenal was when Spain dominated world football from 2008 to 2012, because we were trying to play like Spain and Barcelona, and we attacking wise we were good as it worked, but without the ball we were a disgrace, and that's what the problem is. and that is one of why Spain's success was bad for Arsenal, because Arsene Wenger thought small technical players, blah blah, we're going to win the league, and then teams like Chelsea, Man United, and Man City went, right, we've got bigger players than you, and we've got just as skillful players as you. We're just going to batter you all over the pitch, and boom, we're going to win the title. But you can play the good football, but we'll win the titles and win the game. Thanks, mate. And that's what it was.
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
You know what I mean? Didier Drogba. Oh, God, I could kill him. I could kill Didier Drogba. Oh, God.
You know what? Not even. I don't even mind him. It was for me, Diego Costa.
How can you not mind Didier Drogba? How many times did Didier Drogba scored a goal that won the game against Arsenal?
That was down to. That's what I'm saying. That was down to Wenger again, not picking the right team and the right players. That weren't down to.
Was having nightmares the night before.
Yeah, I know. And he's an Arsenal fan, Didier Drogba as well. And he was a Gooner. Bloody hell.
Don't get Anyway,
we'll be going for nearly an hour. I want to just throw this in the mix for the last 5-10 minutes, and that is obviously the big announcement that Tyson Fury has
there we go
with Anthony Joshua a two fight for 2 fights, which should
disgrace. It's disgrace. Poor Dillian White. Dillian White has been shafted from the greatest height in boxing. Yeah. The only reason why this monstrosity of fight is happening is because the casual boxing fan wants this to happen because they've paid the most money for pay-per-view. But real boxing fans know that Dillian White should be fighting for the world title above Anthony Joshua and above Tyson Fury. Dillian White was wrongly, like I said, banned from boxing for a drug taste that he never failed in the first place. Mm-hmm. It's an absolute outrage that Dillian White, who's beaten all comers, can't get a world title shot, and then we've got to pull up with this. Yeah, it's a great fight in paper, but that's not a boxing match. That's a casual boxing fan's wet dream. Sorry, Anita. Yeah, the last word I said. Sorry, Lisa. Ladies present.
Just my view on it. I mean, Dillian White should definitely he should have been definitely get a go, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, Ken. Tyson Fury will knock them all out, mate. It doesn't matter, honestly. It doesn't matter who he fights until he retires. No one will beat him, and I mean that. Obviously, you know that I see him live. You know, when I went there last year, unbelievable. And I mean, and I said it to you, didn't I? You was a little bit hesitant with Deontay Wilder, but like I said, Anthony Joshua hasn't got a punch. He hasn't got a punch like Deontay Wilder, and that's what everyone was scared of. Why AJ, you know, they didn't want AJ to fight Deontay Wilder because of that one punch, right? Tyson Fury has took it. He's been on his ass, and he's stood up, and he said, "Come on, then let's fight again." Do you know what I mean? Anthony Joshua will not be able to do that. I'm sorry, and he hasn't got a chin after being knocked out against what's his name? I can't think of his name. Ruiz, wasn't it?
Ruiz.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
But let me tell you something. In heavyweight boxing, right, a right hand to the temple will knock any fighter out. It doesn't matter how good Tyson Fury's right.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it. But that's why a lot of boxing fans, casual, real boxing fans, pay £20 a go to watch these fights because they know a right hand can end it.
It was like Buster Douglas, isn't it? When he beat Tyson?
Yeah. But that was only because obviously Tyson didn't.
That was one swing, wasn't it? That was one swing, and he was gone, isn't it? Yeah. You're right.
Gio,
Anita, can I ask Anita a question?
Hold on. Ken, just got to the chat. Gio, AJ will beat Fury like he stole something.
Come on, Anita, what's your view on this? We haven't heard about you. You've just been laughing whilst we.
I'm saying rude words. I'm one of the casual.
Oh, no wonder.
I was just like, oh, okay. I would love to see another, AJ Tyson Fury, but I'll pay to see it.
Oh God. No, that was a great show tonight, guys. Really enjoyed it. Great debate as normal with you, Ken. Hope you enjoyed it, mate.
No, I enjoyed it. But you know the thing about the fact of the matter is, we can all have a little debate, And then what will happen is that next season, the money, Chelsea or Man City or Liverpool are going to win the title, and then we're going to, me, you, and Claude are going to be bitter and angry about it, and having to watch them celebrate in May. You know,
you don't see Arteta challenging for the title then next season, Ken?
No, because simple reasons that
Not good enough then, is it? Ain't good enough.
And of course it's not good enough. But the problem is that one thing Arteta needs to do, he needs to get the right players, and he's got to make sure the youth market. But until Arsenal get the best players in London coming to Arsenal, then we've got a problem, because the problem with Chelsea is that the best players in London are going to Chelsea, and that's where we need to take the baby steps. Try to compete with Chelsea and get the best youngsters, right? And then we can build from the top. Because I think the best way for Arsenal to challenge is actually to improve their youth structure, then work their way up. Because, we are breaking our transfer market every year, but in order to bridge the gap between getting your first choice players, sort your youths. We've got some good youth players, but we need better. We need to be better than Chelsea in that department.
Yeah. Well, just quickly before we wrap this up, let's quickly go round. Claude, you start off. Where do you see Arsenal finishing up next season and Chelsea?
It's difficult to say. We haven't finished this season off yet. All depends what happens in the summer, really. Chelsea look good now. Chelsea really look good with the summer signings, but then there's the pressure on Frank Lampard to get to deliver. I'm going to say, if he makes the right signings, we could challenge top 4. But if he doesn't, we could be 7th or 8th. It depends what signings we make. A lot depends. Do we get that strong midfield ball winner? Do we get that in the side? Do we get a good centre half in alongside Saliba? Although I think Luiz's experience, I might just have him for one more year because of his experience. But it depends. All depends. A lot depends on what happens in the summer. I think both teams. I think Chelsea. I think will do well though. I do think they'll do well.
Oh, Anita.
I'm kind of with Claude on this one. I genuinely think if you guys don't go to Europe next season, I expect at least the top 4 finished. At least. I expect Chelsea to definitely be top 4. Will we win the league? Unlikely, but I would see us in the top 2 for next season. I can see us battling it out to actually win the league next season. But yeah, top 4 for Arsenal, win the league or come second next season. But those are my only expectations.
Okay, well, that sounds good. Kenny?
In terms of Arsenal, we got to bridge the climb, because the reason is that he needs to get the scissors out and cut things. Get Mesut Ozil out of the club, because there's no room for him in the side. Because all Arsenal do is fit him in a position that don't suit him. They're trying to turn Mesut Ozil into what he is, a midfielder. But what happens is teams kind of look at that and they block him off. So the second half, he's ineffective. So cut the cords. If you want to see the best of Pepe, Mesut Ozil's got to go. But in terms of Arsenal do have to get in the top 4 next season. It's imperative. In terms of Chelsea, the only way Chelsea can win the league is if they improve their performances against the top sides. Because I think if you look at their performance this season, the top sides, like the Man Uniteds, Man Cities, and even crappy Arsenal, have got points to fear. If you start winning those games like you used to, the league's yours. But
Season,
yeah, but I think Liverpool will be too strong for everyone next season again. That's my humble opinion.
No, I disagree there, but I see why you say that, but I disagree.
I come to that in a sec. Setsky has said Terry trained or fought as a UFC fighter. Bloody hell, I'd love to. Have you seen me? I'm about 4'2". Bloody hell, you know what I mean? I won't be able to reach anyone in the octagon, mate. But the only thing I've ever done is a charity boxing match for cancer, mate. That's it, mate. Unfortunately, but yeah, coming back to next season. To be honest, I agree with you, Anita. If Liverpool don't go out and buy 2 or 3 players, I mean they've got a great squad. Don't get me wrong, but like I keep saying, you have to refresh the team every year. Just because you go and win something doesn't mean you can stand still, and that's exactly what Wenger done. So they need to go out and they need to refresh the team up And if they don't, I think they'll struggle next season, to be honest. You know, I'm not trying to be controversial or anything like that. But the one thing that I loved Ferguson for, I hated him as a manager. I hated him. You know what I mean? He was our biggest rival in the Premiership. But the one thing that I loved him for is, like, even when he done it with Van Persie, he knew the one player that would win in the league that year, and he come and got him out off of us.
Yeah.
And that's what he did, and that's what Liverpool need to do. And if they don't, they're not gonna struggle. They'll be, you know what I mean, in the top three without a doubt. But Chelsea, they're buying some players. If you keep buying these players and you get them all, and Frank can get a good, good system, good formation. If they hit the ground running, then I could see Chelsea doing it. I don't think you'll win the league. I think Man City will, again, I think Man City might pip it next season. So I reckon you'll be in the top three. And like Claude said, if we can get 3 or 4 players next season, really strong players, right down the spine of the team, with the other players that we've got, like Anita said, and we don't get Europe or whatever, then we should be able to push on. And I think we can get top 4 next season if we can get the players that we get. But it's all ifs and buts, isn't it? Really. So we'll just have to wait and see. Unfortunately,
one thing is that everyone in football is skeet. Like, even because simple reasons, coronavirus has kicked football in the teeth financially. And I think and that's where everyone's going to feel the pinch. So football clubs have to be realistic. Like clubs like Crystal Palace can't ask us to pay 80 million for Wilfried Zaha. Come on, man. You know what I mean? I think that's what's going to happen. But I'll take Wilfried Zaha like yesterday.
Yeah.
Him on one side, Pepe on the other side. What more can you moan about? And then if Aubameyang wants to go, we get Balogun in from the who's going to be a great striker. Get him in.
My only problem with that,
I've solved it. I'll be Arsenal manager.
The only problem with that, Kenny, for me is that we need players in different positions, like our defence. So why do we want to go and get Zaha? That's you know what I mean? All of our fan base. Why did we get Pepe? We didn't need him. We need a defensive midfielder and we need a central defender.
Yeah, but the fact matters is that it's all about mentality. Virgil van Dijk and Alisson look great in Liverpool, but if they don't have people working hard in front of them, like like Wijnaldum, Henderson, Milner, all those sort of players working hard in front of them, they're not going to look like $1 million. You're only as good as the people in front of you. That's the rules of football. But it's why not a chance, mate. If you can't do it at Crystal Palace, you won't be able to do it at Arsenal.
Right, we're going for an hour and 10 minutes now, so we're going to wrap this up. Kenny, as usual, love talking to you and debating with you, mate. Really good. Glad to get you on again, and hopefully we'll be getting you on for the watch-alongs.
Happy to do it. It's nice to meet Anita as well. Anita, next time, give me a bit of warning that you're a Chelsea fan. I thought you were Arsenal.
Oh, he's gone. It's just like that. He didn't want to answer for you. I think he's a battery. Battery always goes right at the last minute. Oh, he's back again. Yeah, look. He's back.
I'm back.
It like that, Ken. No. I mean, they're just saying.
No, what's that? It's when Anita laughed and I started laughing. My device fell over and it locked out.
I'm dead.
Anita, thank you very much for coming on and doing this show with us. We really appreciate it, and we just want to say thank you so much when you was on Terry's show, backing Claude up, because he was in a bit of a corner there, and you.
No, I'm not in a corner, but I had
He was fine. He can handle it himself. He was fine.
You had his back, but no, we really appreciate you coming on, Anita, and giving us a sort of a different view, because obviously, all Arsenal fans, we debate quite often, so it's not a different view. And I agree with you.
No, honestly, thanks for having me on.
No,
it's great. That's great.
Hopefully, come the season, might have you on again. Yeah, we'll talk about Chelsea a bit more. All right, then.
And also, Claude, where are you on at 9 o'clock? Where are you going?
Oh, I've got another row with Robbie, I think, 9 o'clock. Another row.
I don't know. Don't mention the Invincibles and you'll be fine.
Oh, don't.
Just remind him who the voice of reason is, Claude, yeah?
Yeah, there's only one.
I want to thank everyone in the chat tonight. You've been absolutely fantastic. We had loads of people come over. We really appreciate when you all come in. All the super chats, we really appreciate. Don't forget to go and sign up to Op Mic with our code CBS301. Especially with our watch-alongs next week, you'll be able to listen to Claude and the Bansta's commentary. There's loads of other new things they're going to be trying to do in, as well as updating their system. So everything will be really good over on that platform. Once you put our code in, CBS301, go over and have a look and give Anfield Agenda a follow. Craig and Connor, really good guys, helped us out a lot. You've also got Terry the Terrace, Lee Gunner, Anfield Rap, and a few others. So, yeah, it's a great app to get. Also, on Monday night, we've got Review the Premier League show. We've got Tony Rolfe, who's in the chat. He'll be on the show. We've got Sophie Solskjaer from Man United, and we've got Craig from Anfield Agenda for the big kickoff. We'll be talking about the big kickoff, how excited everyone is, and the expectations of the remaining games. And then on Tuesday night, we've got 2 or 3 big announcements to make about our channel and the way it's going. So everyone come and give us a watch on that night on Tuesday. And then obviously Wednesday is the big kickoff. Arsenal, Man City v Arsenal.
Can't wait. Can you?
Can't wait.
Word.
Can't wait.
Anyway,
So,
up the Arsenal. Everyone say up the Arsenal.
Up the Arsenal. Come on.
Take care, everyone.
No, up the Arsenal.
Hell no. No way. Come on.
There's only one thing left to do, Claude.
Oh, do I have to?
Come on.
Yeah.
You know you got to. Come on.
It's time to go!